Growing up, I didn't know how to deal with setbacks, failures, or disappointments. Therefore, I would always focus on the problem rather than the solution. I would end up spending days, if not weeks, thinking about the same thing. When you focus on the problem, it keeps you stuck, it makes you feel like a victim, it can make you feel angry. But more importantly, it can stop you from finding the solution. So I'm going to tell you a little story. A few months ago, I went to Pakistan for a couple of weeks. As you know, I love the gym because it's good for your mindset and your health. Anyway, where we live, it's like a little tiny village. There is no gym. My cousin said to me, don't worry, I will take you. He took me to the gym once, which was good. He did his session, I did my session. We planned to go the next day. I phoned him up in the morning. I said, what time are you going to pick me up? He said 5 o'clock. I said, no problem. 5 o'clock came, he didn't turn up. An hour later, I phoned him. He didn't pick up. Waited another few hours. Didn't hear anything from him. He didn't even ring me to say, oh, I got busy with work, or I got distracted, or I even totally forgot. I've ended up wasting my whole afternoon waiting for this guy. Now, in the past, I probably would have rang him up, got angry, got frustrated, said, why did you not call me? Why did you keep me waiting here all afternoon? That would have drained me mentally. It would have made me more angry. And potentially, I would have thought, bugger it, I'm not going to the gym for a whole week. But by focusing on the solutions, I thought, let him be. If he can't be courteous enough to just call me to say he's not going to come pick me up, is that person even worth talking to? So I didn't bother calling him or making contact with him after that. I just made a gym routine that I could do at home, and I'll throw that up on the screen now. Now, I didn't have access to any weights, any dip bars or anything, so I just made a push-up routine I could do for the next 7 days. Now, it weren't the most enjoyable. It did get a little bit boring and a little bit repetitive. But I just reminded myself, I'm only here for another few days. And that's what I kept saying to myself. And that got me through it. But if I focused on the problem on my cousin, I would have got angry, frustrated, and it would have not benefited me. I would have lost out if I let the problems take over. That's why you've got to always focus on the solutions. Now, you might say that's not the biggest problem in the world, so it was easy to find a solution. But this principle of not focusing on the problems and focusing on the solution can be applied to anything in life. I've applied the same principle to my current situation. I'm suffering with left elbow pain. So in the gym, I can't push or pull. So I've designed a routine where I don't have to bend my elbows. I can train my chest, I can train my shoulders, I can even train my back without bending my elbows. You can find a solution to anything as long as you're willing to look for it. I've also modified the way I do my biceps. I really tuck in my arms so I can still train my biceps. And by doing this, you will always find an answer. You will be able to move forward, but also you're able to still get the results that you want. Because once you build momentum, you want to continue. I'm in the gym at the moment and my physique is at that stage where I just need to continue so I don't lose my gains, but also I can take my physique to the next level. It's so easy to focus on the negative, the problems, start feeling down, start feeling sorry for yourself, and you can end up going backwards. If you develop that mindset to focus on solutions, you will always find answers. And when you find answers, you can do anything. It gives you options. That's why you've got to just switch your focus onto the solutions whenever you're struggling. Always in life, you want to look at the solution rather than the problems. I'm not saying you should ignore your problems. Understand this is the problem. Okay, I get it. But then start focusing on the solutions and what you can do to improve your life. Let's say you hate your job. You can either focus on the problem, be depressed every day, get frustrated, get annoyed, feel demotivated, feel like a victim. Or you can focus on the solution. Look at what other opportunities are out there. Can you train or learn new skills? Can you apply for another job in the same company? Can you start a side hustle? Can you start your own business? If you see the gym as being painful, time consuming, boring, focusing on these things will make anyone unmotivated and not want to go to the gym. Therefore, you have to think of the solutions. How can you make the gym more fun? Can you do a routine in 20 minutes? Can you join classes where you can use it as a time to meet other people? Can you do rock climbing and swimming instead of weight training? If you're single and struggling to meet a girl and all you're focusing on is not having enough money, not looking a certain way, not having the right physique, not having the confidence, you're never going to want to talk to the girl. But if you focus on the solutions, thinking, how can I become more confident? How can I make better eye contact? How can I look better? How can I improve my physique? Once you start thinking this way, you start finding solutions. And once you find those solutions, you just have to take action. And once you take action, you will get the results. It'll stop you feeling like a victim, and you will start to feel like someone who can achieve whatever he puts his mind to. Once you start to focus on the solution, you will realize you can do anything, and all you need is the perfect plan. That's why I've created this video.